så.
Ah.
Tog du computer nu?
Yeah. Hello. Wave if you can hear us.
Yay!
Yay! One person waving. Ooh, two.
Perfect.
We are still waiting for a couple of people to join. Is it as dark in wherever you are as in here? Not in here, but outside. It's really dark.
Depends where you are. I mean, I'm in Vasa, which is not that north.
Yeah. Is it still very, very dark as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine. Let's see if we can boost this. No, we can't boost this.
We don't have a polar night or anything.
What didn't you have?
We don't get polar nights, so it's not like really north.
So I might take the audio later so I can hear everything.
Yeah, of course. I just want to say hello.
Of course. Chat.
I absolutely
Yep.
Yep. I absolutely love I think it was Helsinki's like welcome banner for the tourists that says no sane people would come to Helsinki in like November or something like that, except you badass.
Jesus. Can you like make it?
Men det säger Tim Höglund.
Vad sa du?
Jag är i mötet men det säger Tim Höglund.
I think I was like, can you like?
Yeah,
I think separate this.
I think you can actually, but I think you need to do like this. Eric, this is Eric, by the way, and my name is Cherie, and Eric's specialty is
stuff,
but not Zoom.
No, Zoom is far away from my. Oh yeah.
There you go.
That's perfect, and let's pop that out as well. Perfect. Great.
Nice to see you again, Sarah. You're muted, by the way.
I can hear.
No.
Better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
I think
we can start in 1 minute.
Yeah.
We locked out one of
our colleague.
Yeah.
It's also his office, but we locked him out.
Yeah.
That's great.
Alrighty.
Should we? There's probably gonna drop in some people all the time. So I think we'll just start.
Yeah.
So do you want to start?
Yes.
Introduction?
Yes, I can start. Hello, my name is Cherie. As I've already met some of you, I work as a project manager for Arctic Game Lab in Luleå, which is like in the really north of Sweden. And together with Qvarken Game Lab, Arctic Game Lab and Qvarken Game Lab is arranging something called Femme Jam in the end of November. This is one of the pre-events that is been happening. The purpose of this these pre-events are that I know that some of you know that you don't need to have skills to join a game jam, but I know that some of you want to like know more. So this is why this is the reason why. And today we're gonna learn about Unity,
yes,
which Eric is gonna be
talk about.
So
yes,
the scene is yours, Eric.
Yes, and I'm gonna be rude to Cherie and take this on.
And with that said, really nice to see you all. Eric, please gather all of our participants' email address so I can keep in contact with you later. And good luck. Be nice to Eric, by the way.
So Very welcome to everyone. During this, feel free to just stop me whenever, either write in the chat or just say something or anything. It'll be fine. Why did that? Oh, there you go. It just disappeared. Can everyone hear me good?
Yeah.
Good. So we are gonna talk about Unity. Does anyone know what Unity is? Or is it someone who had never heard about Unity before? It is totally fine. Good. Some of you might know, some of you might not know, but Unity is a game engine that is a little more focused on, not focused, but there's a bunch of game engines out there like Unity, like Unreal Engine, Godot, and other Lumberyard and others like that. And we're going to focus on Unity. It's one of the biggest ones. It is quite easy to learn, hard to master, like most of the things. And we are going to start. I'm just going to see if it was blinking, so I don't know why it was. As Cherie said, I'm not that good with Zoom, so let's see what happens. We're going to start with the simplest. We're going to start by learning where to download it. You go to unity.com. Yay. And when you get here, you can go to like get started. And if you say, I think it's get started today, it will not go where I wanted it to go. I did this like start for free. Oh, I need to sign in. Sorry, I need to sign in. You have to have a account to do. This is not where I wanted to go. I'm so sorry. This is not where I wanted to go.
And we don't need an account to download the student or personal versions, but if you have some team version, you need.
Yes, that's what I want. I wanted to go to. I was just here. This is annoying. I was. God damn it. I'm sorry. This is turning out not as I wanted it to do. It used to be really simple to find. Because there's like, if you go like to products, you can see like Unity Pro, Industrial. There is a Unity individual and like a personal Unity, which is free. And that's the one I go to. Yeah, we're gonna download the Unity Hub. That's what I wanted to do. Let's see what that one says. Yes, this is where I want to be. The link that Jan linked, it's a really good one. Then you can find the individual and just get the personal or student. That's really bad. Once you get that, if you go to get started, you can download the Unity Hub. I really recommend doing the Hub because mostly because I really like it, but it's easy to have versioned Unity. And I can download for Windows. I have not tried the beta version actually, so I'm not really sure about that one. But when you download it, install it, you will come here. This is the Unity Hub. This is going to be empty for you. I just have old projects here. And if you go to installs, you can add and install like a version. I already have a version installed, like the 2020.3.22. Just take the highest for this case. If you don't have a special need for specific version, just use the highest LTS version, like the recommended. Press next, just press next again for simplicity, and it will install. And when that is done, you can go back to project and we can start a new project. So let's do that. New, and we're going to do a 3D project. And I'm going to create this landscape. If I can learn to type. And I'm just going to put it there. Oh, is it not share screen? That is it just? This is why I wanted to do. Now, is it sharing now?
Yes. Yes.
Yay, I'm so sorry.
Can you take it from the beginning again?
Yes, we will. This is the link that Jan posted. You will come here. Download the I would say the personal student, by all means do it. If you go to get started, it'll get you here. I would recommend using Unity Hub. Just download it for Windows or Mac. I have, as I said, I have not tried this beta Unity Hub v3. I do not know if it's good or not. Probably. When you download that for Windows and install it, you can open this. This is the Unity Hub. You can ignore all these projects as they are my own old projects. If you go to installs, you can add an installation. This is not going to be here when you open it. I have already installed a version. So if you add a version, you can just take a specific version if you want to, but I would recommend just using the recommended release that they have at the top. It's the latest stable version. And just press next. Next again. It's gotta be like a bunch of options, but if you're new to Unity, just click next and install it at the location. And when that is done, it's gonna pop up here. And then you can go back to project, because when you do a new project, create a new project, and it says here which version it wants to do. If you have multiple versions, you can choose, not from here, but you can choose later which version you want to open it with. And we have a bunch of like specific ones you want to make. Oh, that's nice. That's a new one for me. And AR, VR, mobile game, it makes like specific settings. But for the most part, these two are fine for what you gotta do. So let's do a 3D one. If I can learn to type. And choose a location, I'm just gonna put it here for this occasion. And we're gonna create this. So it's gonna do stuff in the background. And while that is going, are there any questions so far?
Can we wait a little bit for people to download it? Because if I remember correctly, it's nearly 1 GB.
Yes, we can do that, definitely. I'm recording this and we're going to share this with everyone, so you can always go back and look to it. We're going to make it, this is like a super introduction. So we're not going to go into like super specific stuff. We're going to just go through the workflow a little bit. But if when we have time later, we can go into more specific questions like that everyone has. But in the meantime, I can go through some basic stuff that you don't really need. You can just look and get the point. This is Unity. As it looks kind of weird. It looks really boring almost, but it's really plain. But I like it. I like to keep it simple. I don't like the flashy stuff, but that's a personal preference. It's the first done. Good. What did I say? Oh yeah. This is your world. This is the scene view. You can see my mouse, right?
Yes, we can see your mouse.
Thank you. So this is a scene view. You can also see up here, it's a scene. This is where all your stuff will be. And you can ignore these two for the moment. We'll come back to them later. This to the left, which says hierarchy, is everything in the scene. So in here will be listed here. It's quite simple. Down here, you have something called a project. This is all files in your whole project, not necessarily all the stuff in the scene or in the game, but all the things under the hood, so to say. So everything is stored there nice and neatly. And the last panel to your right is called Inspector. This is, we're gonna get into the Inspector a little more later, but it's basically, if I highlight the main camera, for example, you'll see it come up like options over here. These are the options for each individual thing that you select. So like a cube, if I just real quick, we're gonna go through this in a bit. If I get a cube and just call it cube, you will see it has, oh, can I move this? Yes, I can, cool. You'll see it has options for this cube. So this is like the options menu, the inspector menu. And that is it. I'm sorry if I do a lot. I am one of those people. And I move this right in front of my nose. So when you are in the scene view, it is good to know how to navigate. So the easiest way to navigate, the most correct way to navigate, I should say, is by holding the middle mouse inside this view. And you can do one of these guys. And if you hold right click, I was going to put right, say right now, you do little swirly. So by this, you can center around a specific point like this. If I bring in that cube again, and I'm just gonna do this, I can like hover around it by using the middle mouse, the right button, and scroll works like a scroll works. If I'm for some reason like really far away, I can press F for find, I guess it is, and it will zoom into that selected object. If I choose the main camera and press F, it will zoom onto that one. So that's an easy way by combining the hierarchy and the scene view to quickly jump between objects. Also, when you can't find objects, you can just find them in the scene view and press F and locate them. I'm sorry if I look away from because I have you and notes on my right here, so sorry about that. Another way to navigate, which I find funny, it is not my best way, it's to hold down the right mouse button and use WASD. And by then I can move around like this. Somewhat like a game. Oh yeah, I can use E to go up and Q to go down. So it's a little like a game controls to get the feel. It's a preference whether you like to use the mouse or the keyboard. It's totally up to you. I recommend mixing. How is everyone doing on the download? For those who want to join in the download, join like live. Yeah.
I have the download already, but it's still creating projects.
Okay. Let's see, we can talk about. Cool. Okay, then I can show you this. I had an. Okay. We can actually go into. I'm gonna flip my script a little here, and let's go to the asset store. This is a great place. If you go to Unity Asset Store, you can actually go to it in this. Up here, you have Asset Store here. If you can't see this for some reason, you can go to Window, and here you have Asset Store as well. So if you press that, it'll take you here. Oh yeah, they've changed it. Okay, so we need to search online, and it will bring us to the Asset Store. This is great. Especially for Game Jam, where you want to prototype something really fast. You don't want to spend your time on making basic stuff like locomotion for movement for a character that is so basic. So Unity and people just all around the world make stuff and they put it up for free or for money, but there's a lot of free stuff. So we can search, for example, for I know I've searched this before, but it's a good way. If you go for player controller, for example, and we go for free assets, right here, we can not find what I was looking for, but we can go to, I know this for a fact that this is by Unity. So let's do that and just go by Unity. Where is it? The one I'm thinking of. I have it here. This is my assets. I'm looking at this one. This was essential starter assets. So let's see if we can go. So I went to Unity and Essentials for this specific one. And then I put free assets. Unity usually does free assets. And here I have a starter asset, third person character controller. There's also a first person character controller on here. But I took third person because I like third person games. And when you open that, first of all, it says free. And here it usually says add this to cart, but since it's free, it says add to your let's look what it says. Let's take a random other thing. Let's take this one. It says add to my assets. So let's do that just to show you. So I'm going to add this package of predefined things to my assets. And if I go to check what I have in my asset, I can go to, you have to have an account to do this though. But account is free. So I really recommend doing it. And here I have downloaded a bunch of stuff before, but these two are the ones I'm interested in. So I can either open this in Unity by clicking here, or I can go to a thing called the package manager, which is here. Window package manager. And here I can, this is a little complicated because it's not that intuitive to see, but if you go right beside the plus here, you can change to my assets and it will fetch my assets from my account. So everything I store in my account, I will see here. So for example, I have the starter asset third person controller. Great, I want that. It will say download here first, but I already have downloaded. If I go to this one, it says download. I already have it downloaded on this computer, but press download. And when it's downloaded, we can press import. So I'm actually going to import this, and this will bring in all the essentials in this package into my project so I can use it. And as I said before, in a game jam, this is super good when you want to do a specific thing and you don't want to waste time on something that something that is like a given. So let's import this one. And this will say, you want to import all of this stuff? And I go, yes. Oh, it's great. And this will take a little while depending on what package. And I'm also, can I do that at the same time? No, I cannot. Well done. Just to hear, do we have any programmers or want to learn programmers here today?
I haven't programmed in 10 years, but I used to do.
Okay, that's cool.
PHP and like backend web page stuff. But I haven't done it in a long time.
That is totally okay.
Studying C# right now.
Good. Because everything in, not everything, but most of the things, yes. Most of the things in Unity is C#. Sure. And it needs to restart for some reason. Well done. I'm sorry. I didn't expect that. What did I put in my? Yes. Okay. So now that I've done this, I can see in my project management, I can see that I now have a starter assets folder, which includes my third person controller. So if I go to that one, it has a thing called scenes. And I'm just going to open the playground scene. And a scene is, this is a scene. Think of it as like a level. A level in a game could be a scene, but you could have multiple levels in a scene, if you know what I mean. It's like, it's the world for that place. It might be a little hard, but I can have different thing in different scenes and then jump between them if I would like, in game, of course. Also, of course, outside the game, otherwise that would make no sense. And here, this is this example scene that the guys who are, it's Unity who made this package, but they have made this example scene to showcase all the package things. It usually comes with most of the packages, not all, but large packages usually have a showcase scene or something like that, just to show off their package. That sounded so wrong to say. So let's try this one. If that thing could go away. Thank you. If you press up here, you have play, pause, and step. You don't need to care about these two right now. This play button will play the game as it is right now. And in this case, it is this scene. So here we have, this is their setup. I have done nothing and already I have this. So I can take all of this and just mishmash all of the things for a game jam, just to make a prototype or something. So this is great to have these. So pressing escape will give me the mouse and just cancel out the game or the level or the scene. There's people sitting outside my office. It's kind of weird. On the floor. Distracting. Yes. So I highly recommend, like, if any place you're gonna look for something, look at the asset store. Just go to assets something, just search for things and just go free. There's so much stuff that will help you speed up the process for a game. Regular game, if you're doing it by yourself at home or with a group at home, but especially for game jam when you have such a small time window, it is so good to just push in simple stuff to prove a point, to make your pitch or make your, if you have a super cool mechanic you want to try out, you don't want to spend hours on making a person walk when you can just take it from here and just carry on with your cool stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like libraries.
Yes, just like libraries. Is this up? Oh, it's something cool. We have talked about that. Just to mention for those, if you don't like this, we can always open a empty scene. And if we go to this, the project view, and inside here, I can right click and I get up this menu. And here I can create new folders, I can create stuff, but I can create new scenes, by the way, for example. So if I like, I could create a new scene and call it Femme Jam. And if I open that, it is empty because we have nothing in it. But you can see up here, up to your left, there, that this is the project and that is the scene I'm currently in. So I know where I am. And Control S will save the scene, not the project, but because the project is dynamic in that way. Yes, generic shapes. If I go to the hierarchy and right click, I can right click in here. I can right click here, depending what you want to do. If I want to make a permanent thing, I can create stuff here. Like I want to make a script. I want to make a shader. I want to make other stuff like templates, scene, prefabs, materials. This will put them in the whole project. I can use them in different scenes. I can use them for later. I can use them for outside stuff. But if I create stuff in the hierarchy, for example, let's create a cube as I did before. Let's do that again. By right-clicking, create. I can either create an empty, I will get back to that, but 3D objects, we have a bunch of them. These are great for just like white boxing, like really quickly constructing a basic world. Like it's going to be a platform with a hedge because I'm going to jump over it, for example. I can just do a cube. And I'm going to call it ground. When you create something like that, it will always start by giving it a name. So I'm going to call it ground. And now in the expector, I have all the properties for this cube. So the transform is where, how it's rotated, where it is, how it's rotated, and what the scale is for this. So I'm gonna mark that one, and I'm gonna tab for next one and tab just to put it in the dead center of the world. These things you can ignore, and you can ignore that one for the moment, and that one. That's a little more high tech. And for example, I'm gonna make this 10 by 10. Y coordinates is up in Unity. Now I'm thinking, does everyone know what a coordinate system is? It's totally okay. I'm so used to this stuff by a daily basis that I forget some things. Please tell me to like, I don't know what this is you're talking about, because I get mixed up with something I do on a daily basis. It doesn't seem like. Yeah, cool. So here I have my ground. Maybe I'll make it bigger. Let's make it 20 by 20 instead. And I'm gonna position my camera. I'm using WASD with my right mouse button pressed. So I do this. I can also, if I want to be really fancy, my plan is to align this with the grid so that the top face is on the same level, like height level, as these grids. So I can either do this, but this is a little weird. So I can go up to this little thing up here where it says, it's kind of hard to see. There you go. And I can press on this, for example, to change my view. So like this is top view, this is left view, and I can go under. And if I press the cube or this versus perspective, it will change to isometric or orthographical view. I have no perspective now. It's much easier for me to now push it down to a good level. And I also know that this is 0.5 because math. And I press it again, I'm back to perspective. And now I have my little platform. But I need a character. So let's go down to projects, to third-person controller, and under prefabs. We're gonna talk about prefabs in a moment. The prefabs are great. I'm pretty sure it's this player armature, and I'm just gonna mark it and just drag it into the game. Blah. So this is the same dude as we had before. I'm gonna look if it actually has a camera on it. Camera. Let's see what happens if I just start to play the game. God damn it. I'm sorry, but this is so annoying. If I play. Okay. For some reason, I don't have a camera, but I have my dude. He's running on my game now. So that's easy. I don't know if you can see that thing that drops down for me. It's the zoom like menu that drops right in front of the play button. It's kind of annoying. Okay, I didn't get the camera, but the point still stands. I can drag and drop things into my world really easy to start building up my world super quick. And by that, I can also use the generic shapes. So if I do I have my ground now. And this is a good point to introduce the hierarchy structure of the hierarchy menu. If someone has used, like, I think Lumberyard is the same, but Unreal Engine, it has all its things like straight up. You can bundle them together and stuff like that, but Unity uses like a hierarchy structure. So let's create a empty. This has nothing in it. It's, as you can see to your right here, it just has a transform. It just has where it is and how it's rotated and stuff like that. I'm gonna put it at 0, and I'm gonna choose to call this and geometry for some reason. And if I take my ground and click and drag it over geometry, because I've grouped it under here, this makes it super easy to categorize things. Like I can have all my, if I have a small scene, like I have all my geometry, I can have everything related to lights in one group. I can have everything related to sound, everything related to character. I can have them all bundled in small groups. Make it super easy for me to know where everything is. I think this is super great. I know some people think it's weird. I think it's great. And there are some things, a little more advanced things that are that need to have in consideration, but that's little when you go into scripting and stuff. And we might go into it depending on how you guys feel about going into scripting. But we will mention scripting, but we might not go too far into it because it's, for some reason, for some people it might be too advanced for this case. But if I then go on to my geometry group empty, I can then right click and do another 3D object, and let's put a, I don't know, a sphere. This is now already grouped under geometry. So if I were to move the geometry, I will move everything. Control Z, like any other program, is reverse, undo. I mean. And I can just put this like over here. That sounds great. Yes. So by using the hierarchy, I can like really quickly start to create like a little map. I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. If I Control C, Control V, like for copy and paste, I can duplicate them. I think it has Shift. Is it Control D? Yes, Control D is duplicate. If I just want to duplicate it, as you can see, if I take this one cube or 1 and Control D, it will be create another one. And I'll just move this over here. Oh yeah, crap, I forgot to talk about that. By default, this up here, it says move tool. We also have rotate tool, and we also have scale tool. We have a hand tool, but I don't usually use that because it's easier to just keep it on the move tool. These buttons are corresponded to Q, W, E, and R. So if I press the W key, you can see it moves to the hand. The W, the E, and the R. For some reason, R is not rotate. I don't know why. So those keys are super good because I can move around with WSD and then directly just go to, I just want to scale that one and go R. So I have my hand over like the gaming side. So that's thoughtful of them. And that's why I like move these. I can easily start to create something white boxing level. Sorry. And then Control S will save this scene. So if I go back to scenes and open another scene, nothing's here. Go back to assets where I put my Femme Jam intro, and here it is. Great. Have anyone of you, what is it? Done like 3D stuff with like Blender or Maya, stuff like that?
I have studied Blender, but I applied to Unreal, not Unity. So yeah, it is slightly the same. I think I can do it.
Cool. That's great. It is super easy to import stuff into. I don't think I have anything on this computer right now. But if you were to like make a object in Blender or Maya or anything and then export it in a format that you choose, FBX, OBJ, something like that. And if you go to a folder where you're like, here's a good folder, let's create a new folder by right-clicking, create folder. Let's, like meshes. If I can stop in here. And here I can right-click and import new asset. And then I can just navigate to, let's see if I have something. Nope. Default. Have I something here? I do not think so. Let's go to that. No, I'm sorry. I do not have. But if you had things, you can just import them like that. That is the easiest way to do it. And I would recommend just doing that. You can just show in Explorer. I went to a right-click assets and show in Explorer. It will bring me to the folder. You can just drag and drop things from here. Remember where just that assets is this. If you go back, this is the whole project, but assets is this folder where all the stuff is. So if you're gonna import things through like the browser, remember to go to assets first and then into respective stuff. Otherwise it might, you're not gonna see it in here otherwise. And it would be super annoying to find things. I could just like drag and drop an FBX of a cool model that I made or a texture that I drew or something like that. I can just drag and drop it, or I can import it like this. Yes, this is going to be, oh, the time is running short. I was thinking we're going to be through this really quick. Let's create something useful for you. I'm going to put this in meshes. This is not a good structure, but if I'm here, let's create something interesting. I'm going to create a material. And I'm going to call this new material. Sure. This is the most standard material. If you want to make more advanced ones, it's so mean to say, but Google is your friend. There's so much tutorials on how to do really cool things. I really recommend looking at stuff on Google and YouTube. There's so much there that's really good. But the basic is this standard material. It's for 9 out of 10 purposes, especially for Game Jam, this works super fine. Let's say I want to make this. Yeah, sure, let's make it red. I just click this where it says albedo. I just click that and I can change the color for something. And you can see down here is a preview of how it looks. So let's make it, no, let's make it blue. I like blue better, but that's not, yeah, let's make it blue. And let's make it like super metallic. This is gonna look so weird. And let's make it like super metallic. And yes, and that's it. I'll never save anything. And then I can take this. I can either take this new material and by dragging, and you can see where it wants to pop it. And let's put it on the sphere. I'm gonna duplicate this material, mark it, and Control D. And I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna call it ground. I don't know why they didn't rename the first one. And I'm gonna make this green. And I'm not gonna make it metallic for some reason. It's gonna look like felt. And the other way to assign materials is to go to the object, find this properties, and in the renderer, you have materials. And this is a good feature to know. all the times you can see this little icon and like this window, you can always press it and it will show you all the available things for that thing. Oh, there's a person. I'm so sorry, I didn't see you. So let's go for that one, and that's why I name this, because I want to find it. So I can search for it and just type in ground, and there it is. So this is really useful if you can't really remember where it is in the projects, but you can see it out here. It's really like easy to just, this is going to be something else, like new material. I want to make that good. So naming is also really important. I cannot stress enough. Naming is important. If you're going to do large project for your game jam, don't worry about it. But when you start doing like really big projects, you have lots of stuff, name things, please. Let's say, I'm gonna switch this again. I'm gonna show you, just to show you where it is. I'm gonna go to assets, and I'm gonna make a new folder. I'm gonna call it scripts, if I can type. And scripts is all the logic in Unity that you are gonna make. And in here, I'm gonna right click and create a C# script. And let's call this sphere. We're not gonna do anything special with this one. I'm not sure actually where this is gonna open up. Sure, let's open Visual Studio. Or let's not open Visual Studio. This is not my usual computer, so I'm so sorry. I'm actually gonna be a bad person at this. Oh, this is gonna be so bad. Okay. This is not preferred by any means. When you install Unity, it will try to install Visual Studio. You can use Visual Studio. You can also use, if you go to project settings, I think they still have model behavior. Not really sure.
Can you use Visual Studio Code?
Yeah, Visual Studio Code is much lightweight.
Good, because Visual Studio Code is really good. I really like it. I just can't remember where you changed it. Is it preferences? Yes. External tools. Script editor. No. We got yes, we got Notepad for a reason. That's good. Yeah, when you do this, it will be much easier. I did like an ugly install because I really needed the computer because my computer broke for a couple of days ago. That's fun. But as I said, we're not going to focus on any scripting today. We can take it later if you don't really want to show that. But I'm just going to show you like the basics with the inspector. I'm going to make a public. You can just ignore what I'm doing here. That is called hello. I can set it to true. I'm going to say that. It will compile. Okay, yeah, it's more heavy than I think it is always when you download this. So if I go to the sphere, for example, I can either, as I used before, I can either drag this onto the sphere or into this the inspector. If I drop it, the sphere script is going to go here, and here you can say I did a variable of the type Boolean. It's basically just a true or false statement Boolean variable, but I made it public, so that would show up in the inspector if I would to make a private int by 0. Compiling, but it won't show up here. So public and private things are different. You can go around that, but that's a little more advanced. But the easiest way, just a public thing will show up in inspector and a private won't. That's the easiest way to explain it right now. So here, like if you go to the player armature and look at this, the third person controller, this is a script. This is just a basic script like the one we made, but more advanced. And you can see all the public variables they have. And they have made this, they have created like the whole player armature with scripts and more components, under components. They have components under components like we did with geometry. And then they made a thing called a prefab. A prefab is super good. Let's say we had created a super cool thing, but we wanted to have the exact same thing multiple times. Let's say we create a torch, for example, in a dungeon. It has a script on it that says when the player enters its vicinity, the fire will start. It has a lot of meshes, it has textures, it looks really cool, it has particle effects, the whole shebang. Instead of like creating that over and over and over again, we can create a prefab. A prefab is like a small bundle. So here I have my sphere. It's super not interesting with a little script on it. If I were to take that sphere, and I'm actually going to make a new folder and call it prefabs and open that. If I were to take that sphere and drag it from the game, like the hierarchy, into my project, it will create a prefab. You can see it has a blue cube. If it has a hollowed out cube, it is just a regular object. And this I can create multiples of. If I were to drag in another one, and another one, all of these have that script on it. So I could create multiple things like components under here and put that in the prefab and just push them out multiple times. It's super good. You can even edit the prefab itself. So if I go to the sphere here and double click it, it will open that prefab. So now I'm not in the scene, I am inside that bundle. And let's say we want to add some more components. We can right click up here, for example, and create a new, let's create a little cube that we're gonna scale down with R and scale down and with W to move it. So we give it a little nose. And on the sphere here, let's create a component. All of these are called components, by the way. A transform is component, the render is component. Our script is a component. So if you go to add component, we could actually scroll down to scripts and find our sphere script here, and as well as a bunch of other scripts here. But here, like, let's put in a, I don't know, physics. Oh, we already had a sphere collider on this, but as you can see, you have a bunch of these stuff. If I were to go through all this, we will be here to next week. There's so much stuff in here. I really, really recommend Google once again. I know it's super boring, but it's the best place to learn. There's so much good info out there. Another good thing to know, even though I added this sphere to this prefab, it is just on this sphere. This cube doesn't have the same properties, the options, as this one. But just because this cube is inside the prefab sphere doesn't mean that this component is going to be set on everything in that prefab, if that makes sense. If I were to save this now, hopefully all my other things now has a cube on it. So I can, this is super easy, super good when you have multiple instances, like multiple things all across the scene, and you're like, gosh darn it, I really wanted that little thing to have a green material instead. I want the nose to be green. Let's open the sphere, go to that cube, and put the ground material on that nose and press save. Control S for save. And then go back. There you go. All the noses are now green. And that is the basics of Unity. It's just like, as I said before, it's It might seem like a lot now. That's because I'm trying to cramp down quite a lot into less than an hour. I'm so sorry if I were uncomprehendable. Yes. But it is, when you start to like feel around, it'll get really like clear. There's a bunch of stuff that is like high level stuff that you don't have to care about for the moment. But if you have questions, please let me know if there's any questions. And yes. Are there any questions? Yes. A prefab is a bundle. How should I explain this? Let's create a new prefab. Let's say I want to have a little sign on each of these. Now, let's say I want to put a sign on each of these edges that say, this is the end of the map. For example, I could make a sign like that. Let's make a sign. I'm gonna create a empty and call it sign. I'm gonna position it. I just mark one and press the number, and then I tab to go to the next one. It's just super easy to go to the 0 point. But I'm actually gonna move this to the edge here. And if I highlight the sign and right click, I'm gonna create a cube. I'm gonna press, nope, I'm gonna call that stem, I guess. I'm not super good with English words, so I'm gonna scale this to make like a post. And then on the sign, like the top sign again, I'm gonna create another cube, and I'm gonna call this board. I'm gonna move it up. And now I have created a super rudimentary TV sign thing. Look at that. That's the crappiest sign I've ever seen. Yeah, let's make it a little more interesting. If I highlight the board and go down to 3D objects, I can actually put in 3D text if I want to do. Let's see if we can do something fun with this. Yes, looks super weird. Oh, Greece. Put this. Where is it? What's this? Where is font size? Why is font size 0? Oh. Okay, it's weird. This is a bad way to doing it, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna write end of the world in 2 lines, like this. This is, please ignore how super wonky this is, but you get the point. This is the end of the world. Now I want to create this on the other edges as well. But it's kind of, I could just copy paste this thing. So let's take the sign. I'm gonna Control C and Control V. I get another sign that I can take and rotate it like -90 degrees. And I will have another sign. But if I were to go to the first sign and say, no, I want the text to say like stop, end of the world instead. Stop, end of the world. This will not change this one. Good that this is so visible. Is this still just say end of the world? So to fix this, I will delete this. I will not go into 2D mode. I will take this I will change this back to end of the world first. And I will create this into a prefab. So I will bundle this into a instanceable, like a copyable object. So I drag this sign. I'm gonna be consistent and do it in the prefabs folder. Drag this sign into here. And now I have a sign. This changed into a blue text with a full cube now to showcase this is now a prefab. You can also see it if I highlight it. It says prefab. If I go to the sign here, I can say open prefab. If I now, yeah, that's really good. Is that in my opinion, prefab is the folder. It only stores a game object which can be reusable. Yes. If I were now either just copy paste this prefab, and let's put it over here. Lab. And I can drag in another one. Put it over here. Yes, super good. And let's make another one. Duplicate, Control D, put another one over here. And now I remember, goddammit, I wanted all the boards to be green or blue. I can open the prefab, but in multiple ways. I can go to the actual prefab in the project and double click it. I can go to in the hierarchy and press open up here in the inspector. Let's do that. Oh yeah, this is something new. Don't know why it does like this, but it's the same thing. I'm only manipulating this. It like deselects everything that is in the hierarchy view, but I don't like that, so I'm gonna go to the projects and open like this instead. I think this is much more easy to see what's happening. So let's go to the stem and let's make that blue. I don't know. And let's make the board green. And let's make the text say stop. And make it a black color instead. And if I save this and go back, now every one of those has changed. So it's a great way to do repeatable work. Oh, and not do repeatable work. I mean, did I clear that up?
Yes.
Great. No, those are the basics. Like I really, as I said, super boring to say, Google is your friend. Google is your best friend in this case. Asset Store is a super good place to find, especially for the game jams, and if you just want to try out things, but you don't want to hassle with, either you don't want to hassle or you don't know how to make like the locomotive, like the movement of a character, just download it. It's so easy and it's so good. That's it, I think. I think I've gone through everything that is to get you started. I can talk lots of time about scripting, just scripting, because I think it's really fun because you can make so much cool stuff, but it's also kind of advanced. So to keep everyone's mind sane, let's not do that. Has everyone given their email to Cherie? If not, could you write them in the chat so I can give it to her? That would be great. And of course, is there any questions? Just shout them out now. Or if you have a question about Unity, you can actually write to me on this. If I can learn to type my own name. That is, it's from Sharina, but that is my mail. If you have Unity questions that you can't for some reason find, or it's something about Unity related for the game jam or something like that, feel free to contact me. And I'm actually gonna, that sounds great. I'm gonna move this. If there are any other questions, please feel free to write or say that, and I will do my darndest best to answer them. I'm gonna copy. If not, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Super great.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So many things.
Yeah, talk.
You are
Yeah.
very, very welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, just to try to learn Unity for just 1 week and just very interactive. Yeah.
Good. Unity is really
But-
fun.
Yeah, but it's hard. Then can you explain when a script is different than the normal C# program?
Can you take that again, please?
I don't know how to learn about write a script when we play the game. So do you have any material can show me?
Oh, okay.
About C#.
Let's see if we can make something. Do you want to like have a script that does something in the
Yeah,
game, for
script.
example?
Yeah, just like example about script, because sometimes script make me confused.
Yeah.
Especially about the library.
Yes. Let's, if I understand your question correctly, which I'm a stupid person, so I might not. Let's do this. Let's take the sphere here. And I don't have my intelligence now, so this is might be really weird. Let's do this. Do you know about the start function and the update function things?
No, it's actually, I don't know. I think the start function that before the object can activate and update the object will just move or jump like that.
Yes. As it says there, actually in the script, it says when you create a new script, it will come with this, like the start is like this before the first frame, like the first initial frame of the game, while update is called every frame. So I could do console
Right.
log and just write hello, and I can do console.log update. Hopefully I wrote that right. Console here is really good. This will say, in this example, you spelled something wrong. So I can see here in the script sphere on line 13. I can't see my lines here, but console.
I think
Am I?
that's so right.
Oh, correct. It's a capital.
So right.
Log.
Use the upper
Like that.
Yeah.
Console.log, which is basically, if you want to debug stuff, console.log it now. A long time ago. Is console.log not Unity? Am I thinking of something else? Okay, let's not do that. What we can do is, for example, as you saw on this prefab, my sphere is set to true, and my hello is set to true, for example. So if I were to do this, which points to this object, I can find hello, which is my bool variable. I can set this to false. At the first frame when the game starts, I will do something. And in the update, we can do something stupid. Let's do this dot transform. This is super weird when I don't have intelligence. Dot position. Let's do local position equals. I need to do this. vector 3 cosily equals. You can please ignore what this is. And I'm gonna do actually dot x plus equals 0.1, and then I'm gonna flip this around. If this works, I'm gonna explain what I'm doing. Yeah, okay. Good. No, it should be good. Yes. And good. There you go. Let's see if this works. That's unfortunate. Let's move the camera to where I want it so I can see. Where my switch? Oh. They're just running away. I'm sorry, that took me by surprise. That was funny. I remember that I didn't put. This is a dangerous thing. If I go play and I do something, if I go to scene while plays, you can see them running away in the background. And if I change something here, let's put this like far away. And if I stop playing, it'll snap back. All the changes has to be made outside play. So that's the thing. But I wanted to do was move the camera, yeah, so we can see what's happening. And I'm actually gonna do 0.2 or something like that, so we can see what's happening. So they'll just run away. That's kind of funny. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight one of the spheres, and I want you to look at this hello. I'm sorry, that's super annoying. Thank you. It will go off. And these guys just ran away. So the difference here is what I did was at the first frame, I set this variable to be false. That's what the first thing that happened when we started the game. And what I did here was I took the transform like this up here, this component transform, and I took out its position. And I modified this position by adding 0.02 to that X position value. And then I applied that new value to its position. And this is going to be called every frame. So that means it will move. So that's like super easy applying thing. And just to show you what happens if I go into the sphere prefab and I disable this script in the prefab, not in the individual like instance of it, like on the whole prefab, nothing will happen because I'm not saying the script will not run out. So I have to have it on something in the world. Oh, that's another discussion. You can't make it, you can skip that. But the general consensus is you have to have the script in the world and you have to have it active on an object that is active in the world. Then it will work. And the update function is every time a frame goes by in the world, it will do all these calculations inside here. That's how you like manipulate the world. Did that answer any question that was? Did it make any sense? I might have fried someone's brain there because it got really quiet. I'm gonna take the silence as I understand everything now. I'm gonna go make a great game.
Actually, I don't think that's covers enough about like the scripting, like yeah, you haven't said anything about like the mono behavior or any
No.
other libraries, but
No, I'm sorry, but I haven't. But that is, if we were gonna go into that, I'm gonna be here all night.
yes,
So,
I know.
unfortunately, no. Oh, that would be so cool if we could do that, but unfortunately, we don't have time. And this is gonna be like a really basic understanding of what Unity is. So unfortunately, if you have any questions, like and you can't find on YouTube, please email me, and we can sort it out by that way. If you have any specific questions, if not, if you have game-related, Unity-related question that you can't find in Google, please email me. If you have Game Jam-related questions, email Cherie. She will email you some information on the mail that you provided here. If there's not anything else, I would super thank you for coming. That was really fun that so many could join.
Wait. A little bit, like yeah, because like we learned like really little bit about this. So how can we really make a game in the Game Jam? I don't think these are enough. Yeah, because I have like studied like Unreal Engine and just a little bit Unity, but it's just in 2D games, not 3D. So I don't think it's possible to make a game just with this information.
Oh, it felt like so. That's so aggressive to just take off your shirt when you said that. Sorry, it wasn't anything like that. I would like to disagree. It depends solely on what type of game you're making. But these tools will get you started, because a game is not easy to make, but it is fun to make. But since this is like a super like just get to know Unity, yes, because if you want to like make a full-fledged game, we have to have a lot longer to talk about all the things like how do you build stuff, like how do you make a deployable game, how do you make yes, more into scripting, how do you make logics, like as you said, the mono behavior. We have to go into so much detail that it will take so long. But this was more like a super crash course into how to handle Unity as an engine, not specific how to make a game. I'm sorry if we were confusing when you got here. I just think that if you have these tools, just learn how to handle yourself and know what things are, like this is where all the things in the scene is, this is where all the project things are, this is the view. You have a lot easier to understand what people are talking about in like further tutorials. Like when they see, just jump into the Spectre. What is the Spectre? Like, no. That's my reasoning, at least.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear, because when I read the news from my school, I thought it just like something like Game Maker, Toolkit, Game Jam or something. Like I have to make something that I can put on the website or something.
Thank you for that, mate. No, but if you have, that would be super cool if you could have like a more in-depth. I can actually talk to Shuri if you. But the Game Jam is next week. Is there anyone here? Is there anyone here who's going to the Game Jam, like next week?
Yeah,
I'm going.
go to
Yeah,
Game Jam.
I think about
Great.
going. there.
Nice, that's so good to hear. Is there anyone who's going to here in Skellefteå?
I'm going in Vasa.
It's really good because I'm gonna be at here in Skellefteå, and I'm probably gonna be on standby for everyone, like on Discord and stuff like that. But I'm gonna be on site in Skellefteå. That's why I was thinking could meet somebody. No, but I'm gonna be on standby on Discord for any like program related or Unity questions at the actual Game Jam. So that's why you can always come to me with questions.
Okay.
Cool. Let's go eat dinner. I guess. I don't know. Super nice to have you all here. Any questions, just email me or Cherie. She's gonna email you with info. Yes. Super, thank you for joining.
Thank you for the presentation.
Good.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.